Welcome to today's Lost Souls, where we bring you the most impactful and unforgettable stories from around the world. Today, we remember the lives of remarkable individuals whose legacies continue to inspire and resonate. From iconic musicians to trailblazing activists, join us as we celebrate their extraordinary contributions and bid farewell to those who have left an indelible mark on our lives. Stay tuned for a journey through their incredible stories.
Tais Bruna de Castro. Tais Bruna de Castro was a talented Brazilian actress and rising star whose promising career was tragically cut short. Her vibrant performances and dedication to her craft won her recognition in Brazilian television and film, and her untimely death on June 5, 2025, left fans and colleagues mourning the loss of a bright and inspiring talent. Born on March 12, 1996, in São Paulo, Brazil, Tais Bruna discovered her passion for acting at a young age. Encouraged by her family, she pursued formal training in drama and quickly began appearing in local theater productions. Her natural charisma and emotional depth made her a standout performer, leading to opportunities in television and cinema. Tais made her television debut in 2015 with a supporting role in a popular Brazilian telenovela. Her ability to convey complex emotions and bring authenticity to her characters earned her critical praise and a growing fan base. Over the next few years, she took on increasingly significant roles, showcasing her versatility across genres, from romantic dramas to thrillers. Her breakout role came in 2022 when she starred in the acclaimed series Caminhos da Vida, where her portrayal of a young woman navigating personal and family challenges resonated deeply with audiences. The series' success elevated Tais's profile nationally and opened doors to film projects. In cinema, Tais appeared in several independent films that were showcased at Brazilian film festivals, earning accolades for her nuanced performances. She was known for choosing roles that highlighted social issues, including women's rights and mental health, reflecting her commitment to using art as a platform for awareness and change. Beyond her professional achievements, Tais Bruna was admired for her humility, kindness, and activism. She was involved in various charitable organizations, advocating for education and support for underprivileged youth in Brazil. Her social media presence was marked by positivity and encouragement, inspiring many young fans to pursue their dreams. Despite obstacles, tragically, Tais's life was cut short due to complications from a sudden illness. Her passing sent shockwaves through the Brazilian entertainment industry, prompting an outpouring of grief and tributes from fellow actors, directors, and fans. Many remembered her not only as a gifted actress, but also as a compassionate and vibrant individual whose light shone brightly both on and off screen. Tais Bruna de Castro's legacy is one of talent, passion, and social consciousness. Though her career was brief, her impact was profound, and her work continues to inspire. Her dedication to authentic storytelling and advocacy for meaningful causes ensures that she will be remembered as much more than an actress, as a beacon of hope and change. Ananda Lewis. Ananda Lewis was a dynamic American television personality, activist, and philanthropist, remembered for her vibrant presence on screen and her passionate advocacy for social causes. She passed away unexpectedly on June 10, 2025, leaving behind a legacy of inspiration and empowerment. Born on July 8, 1973, in Los Angeles, California, Ananda Lewis burst onto the media scene in the late 1990s with her charismatic hosting style and genuine connection with audiences. She first gained national attention as the host of MTV's groundbreaking show, The Cut, where her candid interviews and fearless approach to discussing youth culture, relationships, and social issues resonated deeply with viewers. Her ability to engage with guests and audiences alike made her a beloved figure in the world of entertainment. Beyond her television career, Lewis was a dedicated activist. She used her platform to raise awareness about HIV/AIDS, education inequality, and youth empowerment. In 2001, she made headlines by publicly announcing her decision to remain abstinent until marriage, sparking important conversations about sexuality and personal choice among young people. Her openness and honesty helped break down stigmas and encouraged many to think critically about their own values and decisions. Ananda's commitment to philanthropy extended beyond the screen. She founded the Ananda Lewis Foundation, which focused on providing educational resources and mentorship programs for underprivileged youth across the United States. Her foundation's initiatives helped thousands of young people gain access to scholarships, tutoring, and leadership training, embodying her belief in the transformative power of education. Throughout her life, Lewis was also an advocate for mental health awareness. Drawing from her own experiences, she spoke openly about the importance of seeking help and destigmatizing mental illness. Her advocacy contributed to broader public understanding and support for mental health initiatives, making her a role model for many facing similar challenges. In addition to her activism and philanthropy, Ananda Lewis was known for her artistic talents. She explored music and writing, releasing a collection of poetry that reflected her journey of self-discovery and resilience. Her creative work was celebrated for its authenticity and emotional depth. Ananda's sudden passing at 48 shocked fans and colleagues alike. Tributes poured in from across the entertainment industry and social justice communities, highlighting her impact as a trailblazer who used her voice to uplift others. Friends remembered her as a compassionate, fearless, and inspiring individual who never shied away from difficult conversations or standing up for what she believed in. Her family expressed gratitude for the outpouring of love and support, requesting privacy as they mourned their loss. They emphasized Ananda's enduring spirit and the positive change she fostered throughout her life. Ananda Lewis's legacy is one of courage, compassion, and commitment to making the world a better place. Her work continues to inspire new generations to speak their truth, embrace their identity, and strive for social justice. Brian Wilson. Brian Wilson, the visionary co-founder and creative genius behind the Beach Boys, passed away at the age of 82. His family announced his death on June 11, 2025, expressing their deep sorrow and acknowledging the shared grief felt worldwide. Born in Hawthorne, California, Wilson was the eldest of three musical brothers: Brian, bass; Carl, lead guitar; and Dennis, drums, who, along with cousin Mike Love and friend Al Jardine, formed the Beach Boys in the early 1960s. The band quickly rose from a local California surf group to international icons, producing a string of hits that celebrated California youth culture, surfing, cars, and summer romance. Brian Wilson's extraordinary talent for melody, arrangement, and production shaped the band's signature ethereal harmonies and innovative sound that became emblematic of the era. Wilson's musical genius was evident in classic tracks like Good, Vibrations, California Girls, and God Only Knows, which remain timeless anthems. His 1966 album, Pet Sounds, is widely regarded as one of the greatest albums of all time, influencing legendary artists such as the Beatles. Paul McCartney famously cited Pet Sounds as a direct inspiration for Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and called God Only Knows one of his favorite songs ever. Despite his success, Wilson's life was marked by personal struggles. He battled mental illness, including schizoaffective disorder and addiction for decades. In 1964, he stopped touring due to a nervous breakdown and focused on studio work, pushing the boundaries of music production with complex arrangements. Influenced by Phil Spector's Wall of Sound, His ambitious Smile project in 1967 was famously abandoned but later completed decades afterward. Wilson's health declined in later years. After the death of his wife Melinda Wilson in early 2024, he suffered from dementia and was placed under conservatorship for his care. His longtime publicist Gene Sievers and manager Leanne Hard managed his affairs during this period. Throughout his career, Wilson received numerous accolades, including 2 Grammy Awards and induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1988. He reunited with surviving Beach Boys members for their 50th anniversary tour in 2012, celebrating a legacy that spanned over 6 decades and sold more than 100 million records worldwide. Brian Wilson's passing marks the end of an era for one of rock music's most influential and romantic figures. His legacy endures through the music that defined a generation and continues to inspire artists and fans around the world. His life was a poignant blend of brilliance and vulnerability, a testament to the power of creativity amid personal turmoil. Douglas McCarthy. Douglas McCarthy was the iconic frontman and co-founder of the influential British electronic body music, EBM band Nitzer Ebb, whose pioneering work helped shape the industrial and electronic music scenes from the 1980s onward. Born Forfee, Douglas John McCarthy on September 1, 1966. In Barking, East London, and raised in Essex, McCarthy's early exposure to music came from his father, a sheet metal worker who introduced him to classical composers like Elgar and Bach, as well as jazz and pop legends such as Tony Bennett and Frank Sinatra. As a youth, McCarthy gravitated towards the vibrant post-punk and electronic scenes, drawing inspiration from artists like Brian Eno, Talking Heads, and Fad Gadget. His formative years in Essex saw him meet drummer David Goudet at the age of 10, and later Bon Harris, with whom he would form Nitzer Ebb in 1982. Nitzer Ebb emerged from the Essex underground with a sound that fused the raw aggression of punk with the emerging electronic dance music of the era. Their early singles, including the 1985 debut Isn't It Funny How Your Body Works, showcased a harsh, rhythmic, and commanding style that would come to define the EBM genre. Their 1987 debut album, That Total Age, released on Geffen Records, cemented their place in the industrial music landscape. Tracks like Join the Chant and Murderous combined pounding electronic beats with McCarthy's distinctive, forceful vocals and confrontational stage presence. The band's music was characterized by its aggressive energy and danceable beats, influencing later acts such as 9 Inch Nails, Rammstein, and Cold Cave. Throughout the late 1980s and early 1990s, Nitzer Ebb toured extensively, including a notable stint supporting Depeche Mode on their Music for the Masses European tour. McCarthy's intense performances and the band's innovative sound made them a seminal force in the electronic and industrial scenes. Beyond Nitzer Ebb, McCarthy collaborated with various artists and projects, including Fixmer Tais McCarthy with DJ Terence Fixmer, and contributed guest vocals to bands like Die Krups and Recoil, further showcasing his versatility and influence. Despite his success, McCarthy faced significant health challenges later in life. In March 2024, he publicly disclosed his diagnosis of liver cirrhosis, attributed to years of alcohol abuse. This condition forced him to step away from touring and public life as he focused on recovery, which he described as a long and difficult process. Tragically, on June 11, 2025, Douglas McCarthy passed away at the age of 58. The band and his record label, Mute Records, issued heartfelt statements mourning his loss and asking for privacy and respect for his family during this difficult time. McCarthy's legacy is one of groundbreaking artistry and uncompromising dedication to his craft. His work with Nitzer Ebb not only helped define a genre, but also influenced a generation of musicians and producers. His commanding vocal style, innovative approach to electronic music, and the raw emotional intensity he brought to his performances remain deeply respected in the music community. Outside of music, McCarthy was remembered by friends and collaborators as a warm, creative spirit whose personality left a lasting impact. Tributes poured in from fellow artists and fans worldwide, celebrating his contributions to music and his role as a pioneer of electronic body music. Douglas McCarthy's passing marks the end of a remarkable chapter in the history of industrial and electronic music. His influence endures in the sounds and styles he helped create, and his voice continues to resonate with those who discovered the power and passion of Nitzer Ebb's music. Yulin. Yulin was a distinguished American actor celebrated for his versatile performances across film, television, and theater. He passed away peacefully on June 12, 2025, leaving behind a rich legacy that spanned over 6 decades and touched countless audiences worldwide. Born on November 5, 1937, in Los Angeles, California, Yulin's passion for acting emerged early in life. He honed his craft at the Actors Studio and later became a respected figure in New York's theater scene. His stage work was marked by intensity and depth, qualities that seamlessly translated into his screen performances. Yulin's career was characterized by a remarkable ability to embody a wide range of characters, from authoritative figures to morally complex antagonists. Yulin's film career took off in the 1970s, with notable roles in critically acclaimed movies such as Scarface, 1983, where he portrayed Mel Bernstein, the intimidating arms dealer. His commanding presence and nuanced acting made him a sought-after character actor in Hollywood. Other significant film credits include Ghostbusters, 1984, in which he played the mayor of New York City, and Clear and Present Danger, 1994, where he took on the role of Admiral Greer. On television, Yulin was equally prolific. He appeared in numerous popular series, including Law and Order, The X-Files, NYPD Blue, and Frasier. His guest appearances were often lauded for their authenticity and gravitas, contributing to the success and depth of the shows. Yulin's ability to bring complexity to even brief roles earned him respect among directors and peers. Beyond his screen work, Yulin was deeply committed to theater. He performed in Broadway productions such as Long Day's Journey into Night and The Price, showcasing his classical training and dedication to the craft. His stage presence was described as magnetic, captivating audiences night after night. Throughout his career, Yulin was known not only for his talent, but also for his professionalism and kindness. Colleagues remembered him as a generous mentor, who supported younger actors and fostered a collaborative environment on set. His humility and work ethic were as admired as his artistic achievements. In his personal life, Yulin was a devoted family man. He cherished his privacy, but often spoke about the importance of balancing career and personal happiness. His longtime marriage and close relationships with his children were sources of great joy and stability. Yulin's contributions to the arts were recognized with several awards and nominations, including an Obie Award for his theater work. Despite his accolades, he remained grounded, often emphasizing that the true reward of acting was the ability to connect with and move audiences. The passing of Yulin marks the end of an era for a consummate actor whose work enriched American film, television, and theater. His legacy endures through the memorable characters he brought to life and the inspiration he provided to generations of performers. Chris Robinson. Chris Robinson was a veteran American actor, best known for his memorable role as Dr. Rick Weber on the long-running ABC soap opera General Hospital. He died peacefully in his sleep on June 9, 2025, at his ranch near Sedona, Arizona, after a prolonged battle with heart failure. Born on November 5, 1938, in West Palm Beach, Florida, Robinson's acting career spanned over 6 decades, beginning in the 1950s. Early in his career, he appeared in a variety of popular television shows such as The Donna Reed Show, The Fugitive, Gunsmoke, Sea Hunt, and Death Valley Days. He also had roles in notable films, including the 1962 Burt Lancaster classic Birdman of Alcatraz, and several projects directed by John Frankenheimer. Robinson gained widespread recognition in the 1960s with his role as Technical Sergeant Alexander "Sandy" Komansky in the ABC war drama 12 O'Clock High, where he appeared in the last 46 episodes from 1965 to 1967. This role helped establish him as a reliable character actor in television. However, it was his portrayal of Dr. Rick Weber on General Hospital from 1978 to 1986 that cemented his place in popular culture. As Dr. Weber, Robinson played a complex character who was the adoptive father of Laura Spencer, a central figure in the iconic Luke and Laura storyline of the 1980s. His character's dramatic arc included 2 marriages to Leslie Weber, played by Denise Alexander, and a shocking return in 2002, which ended with his character's murder by a candlestick-wielding Scotty Baldwin, adding a memorable twist to the soap's narrative. Beyond General Hospital, Robinson also appeared in other daytime dramas such as The Bold and the Beautiful, where he played Jack Hamilton, further showcasing his versatility and longevity in the soap opera genre. Robinson's career was marked by his ability to bring depth and authenticity to his roles, earning him respect among peers and fans alike. His iconic line in a commercial, "I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV," became a memorable catchphrase, highlighting his association with medical roles in television. Despite his extensive career, Robinson remained a private and grounded individual, spending his later years at his ranch in Arizona. His passing was mourned by colleagues, fans, and the television community, who celebrated his contributions to the entertainment industry and his enduring legacy on daytime television. Chris Robinson's death marks the loss of a beloved actor, whose work helped shape the golden era of American soap operas. His portrayal of Dr. Rick Weber remains a defining role that continues to resonate with audiences decades after his first appearance. Henry Franklin Winkler entered the world on October 30, 1945, in the west side of Manhattan. The only son of German Jewish refugees who had fled Nazi Germany 6 years earlier. Life in their modest Riverside Drive apartment was defined by discipline and hope. His parents, Harry and Ilsa, ran a woodenware import company and insisted their son inherit the trade. But Henry's mind wandered toward stories, jokes, and impossible adventures. Dyslexia turned each homework page into battle, earning scorn from teachers and the nickname Dumb Henry from cruel classmates. Retreating inward, he crafted imaginary dialogues, performing them in the mirror after school. Those makeshift one-man shows became an oasis, proving that creativity could outrun humiliation, and that the words that betrayed him on paper could set him free on a stage. At night, he whispered a vow that one day he'd stand under bright lights, command every line, and turn his pain into applause. The dream felt impossible yet vital. Acceptance into New York's High School of Performing Arts opened doors for Henry, handing him tokens to escape academic frustration and dive into movement and scene study. Instructors noticed that once he embodied a character, memorization stopped being a minefield. lines lodged in muscle memory bypassing dyslexia. After graduating in 1963, he defied his parents and enrolled at Emerson College, funding tuition as a hotel bellhop and horse guide while devouring Stanislavski between shifts. Still uneasy, his father mailed business brochures, yet Henry clutched an admission letter from Yale School of Drama, which he entered in 1967. 3 demanding years later, he emerged with an MFA sharper craft and a conviction that entertainment could double as empathy. Regional theater followed. Hartford stage Yale Rep, where he cultivated comic timing critics likened to Chaplin meeting Brando. A 1972 move to Los Angeles brought guest spots, auditions, and ramen dinners marked by big anxiety. In 1973, a Paramount auditions sought a fast-talking greaser named Arthur Fonzarelli. At 5'6", sandy-haired Henry Winkler hardly matched the vision, yet he snapped invisible gum and owned the room. Producer Gary Marshall sensed instant magnetism and retold the role into the now legendary Fonza. When Happy Days debuted in 1974, its nostalgic glow captivated millions, and by season 2, the Fonza craze eclipsed every other TV hero. Ratings rocketed, merchandise filled stores, and Henry greeted crowds who screamed, "Hey!" like gospel. Avoiding caricature, he studied mime for subtle gestures and insisted on emotional layers that revealed vulnerability beneath the swagger. Emmy nominations came between 1976 and 1978, along with White House invitations where presidents requested photos. Offset, he turned fame into advocacy, sharing his dyslexia to inspire struggling students. Films Heroes, 1977, and Night Shift, 1982, confirmed craft rose beyond TV sitcom limits. After Happy Days wrapped in 1984, Hollywood typecasting nearly froze him out. Rather than quit, Winkler stepped behind the camera, executive producing The Adventure, hit MacGyver, guiding 139 episodes from 1985 to 1992. Directing followed from the holiday film A Smoky Mountain Christmas to numerous sitcom episodes. Gradually, he resurfaced on camera. A pompous lawyer in Absolute Power, a hapless principal in The Metahorse Scream, and the kind-hearted coach Clean in The Waterboy, which earned over $160 million. Each turn chipped away at Fonz's long shadow. In the 2000s, he built eccentric recurring roles: Barry Zuckerhorn in Arrested Development, Dr. Saperstein in Parks and Recreation, Mr. Rock in Royal Pays. Finally, as acting coach Gene Cuseno on HBO's Barry, he captured a long-overdue Emmy in 2018, proving reinvention thrives at any age. He voiced cartoons like Clifford and co-wrote the Hank Zyper books, using his dyslexia story to help all kids believe in themselves worldwide. Henry's public energy often masked a quieter battle for equilibrium. Diagnosed officially with dyslexia only in his 30s, after his stepson Jed received the same verdict, he finally had a map for frustrations that once felt like personal failures. That revelation launched a lifelong crusade, partnering with literacy, nonprofits, testifying before Congress, and co-authoring the Hank Zyper children's series, whose mischievous hero mirrors young Henry's struggles and triumphs. Physical setbacks surfaced too. Years of motorcycle scenes and Fonza fan greetings left his spine compressed, leading to multiple cervical surgeries in the late 1990s. A horseback mishap while filming shattered his elbow, forcing months of physical therapy. Yet, he returned to set ahead of schedule, crediting a disciplined pool routine and an ironclad determination not to surrender momentum. Heart health scares in his 50s inspired a pescatarian diet and daily laps that he documents on social media. to encourage followers toward preventive care rather than crisis response. Loss found its way into Henry's orbit despite his optimism. In 1995, he held his father's hand during Harry's final hours, absorbing the weight of a stern man who had fled tyranny, only to witness his son flourish in freedom's spotlight. Years later, his mother passed, her memory honored whenever. He tells audiences how Elsa hid jewelry and baked bread to fund their escape, a story he now retells at Holocaust remembrance events. Colleagues, too, have left. Gary Marshall's 2016 farewell prompted Henry to champion directors who nurture kindness. On set, Robin Williams' absence invigorated his mental health advocacy, urging creative communities to check on one another between takes. Though each farewell carved a scar, he chooses action over despair, supporting grief camp scholarships for children and producing documentaries that celebrate laughter as medicine. He sees mourning not as an ending, but as a semaphore, reminding the living to love audaciously, work generously, and watch for those who might feel unseen. Today, at nearly 8 decades young, Henry Winkler wakes before sunrise in Los Angeles, sips green tea, and writes 3 gratitude lines in a leather notebook, a ritual he credits with resetting creative focus before stepping onto set, page, or podium. His calendar still hums. Cameo duties on Monster High, scene-stealing turns in Wes Anderson's upcoming Asteroid City sequel, and table reads for the animated series Garfield, where he voices a lovable science-obsessed beagle. When the cameras pause, he heads for casting meetings on his new Apple TV Plus comedy about retired stuntmen plotting one last spectacular gag. Weekends find him traveling the lecture circuit, where he breaks dyslexia myths for teachers, parents, and most passionately, kids who doubt their own potential. Between flights, he FaceTimes grandchildren Ace and Lulu, delighting them with Fonz's iconic A, but reminding them that the coolest thing anyone can do is treat people with respect. Even off stage, his curiosity refuses to idle. Henry's Instagram has morphed into an unlikely field guide stream titled Winkler Wildlife Watch, where daily he photographs hummingbirds, hawks, and the koi that glide through his backyard pond. Followers routinely turn the comments into reading circles, quoting his 2023 memoir, Being Henry, and trading coping tactics for learning differences. Each post ends with the catchphrase, "You're not alone," echoing the ethos he's championed since first revealing his reading struggles. That mantra underpins his new venture, Winkler World Productions, a philanthropic imprint funneling a percentage of royalties into college scholarships for neurodivergent students pursuing arts degrees. The initiative's pilot cohort begins at Emerson next fall. Henry plans to greet them personally, hand each assigned Hank Zyper volume, and sit in on workshops just to listen, he says, because the next breakthroughs belong to them. Married to Stacy for 46 years, Henry credits their partnership for the resilience that sustains him. She manages household logistics while he juggles scripts, podcast appearances, and his beloved tradition of Sunday spaghetti shared with extended family. The couple's low-file home is equal parts gallery and shrine. Original Happy Days jackets hang beside watercolors painted by Stacy, and a wall of framed children's letters testifies to the reach of his advocacy. Health-wise, he maintains an hour-ong aquatic workout daily, guided by a physical therapist who tailors sessions around lingering spinal tightness. Regular cardiology checkups reflect improved numbers, a victory he attributes to Mediterranean leaning, meals and disciplined stress management practices learned from meditation coach Jeff Warren. His doctors monitor age-related macular degeneration, but early intervention treatments have preserved vision, allowing him to continue fly fishing Snake River each July. a pastime he films for an upcoming PBS special exploring mindfulness through angling. Henry defines legacy not by trophies, but by the volume of encouragement he can broadcast. He mentors young actors navigating overnight fame, hosts monthly Zooms for dyslexic high schoolers seeking college advice, and volunteers as a guest reader at Children's Hospital, LA. In 2024, Governor Gavin Newsom appointed him to California's Arts and Education Council, where he champions grants that pair theater programs with literacy labs. Meanwhile, the Hank Zyper franchise hits its 20th book, and Audible releases an immersive audio edition directed by Henry himself, featuring layered soundscapes to enhance comprehension for auditory learners. Even so, he declines the idea of retirement. An artist's expiration date, he often quips, is the moment curiosity dies, and mine is doing backflips. Thus, Henry Winkler stands today not just as the beloved Fonza of cultural memory, but as a dynamic, force-shaping storytelling, literacy, and compassionate visibility in the 21st century. His journey from a dyslexic kid mocked as slow to an Emmy-winning actor, producer, author exemplifies the power of persistence, empathy, and reinvention. And farmers, handshake backstage, every autograph scribbled slowly so letters stay legible, reinforces his mission, proof that perceived weaknesses can become superpowers when wielded with humor and heart. The lights have never dimmed. They've simply evolved, illuminating new stages where Henry continues to turn adversity into applause. One child inspired, one laugh sparked, one echoing hope at a time. The pen has become as central to Henry's second act as the leather jacket once was, opening corridors of influence that stretch beyond any sound stage. Co-writing with children's author Lynn Oliver, he has shepherded the Hank Zyper universe into classrooms in more than 24 countries, releasing companion science journals, comic strip digests, and an educational TV adaptation that won a BAFTA for Best Children's Series. When book signings resume each fall, he insists on greeting every reader individually, sometimes for 9 straight hours, handing out dyslexia resource cards and demonstrating how he breaks large words into syllabics, beats, turning obstacles into choreography. The franchise has now sold over 10 million copies, funding literacy labs in under-resourced public schools from Compton to the Bronx. Publishers pitched a spin-off focused on Hank's tech-savvy cousin, and Henry agreed only after a guarantee that half of all royalties finance an annual summer arts camp where neurodivergent kids learn film from union professionals. For him, story has always been a rescue ladder. Now he's mass-producing ladders. Off-camera, Henry's philanthropy portfolio reads like a blueprint for holistic well-being. He chairs Open Doors, a nationwide mentorship pipeline connecting dyslexic teens to tutors, mental health counselors, and scholarship advisors, logging weekly Zoom calls despite filming schedules. He co-founded Real Relief, pairing comedy writers with pediatric cancer wards to craft personalized sketch videos, believing laughter can metabolize fear faster than morphine. When California's drought deepened, he auctioned the original Fonza motorcycle for charity. The bike fetched $231,000, funding rain capture systems for 5 elementary schools. He also backs Alzheimer's research haunted by memories of co-star Marion Ross caring for her late husband. Each donation letter he signs includes a joke, a pragmatic nod to Ross's reminder that joy can survive grief's heaviest season. That paradox, hope welded to hardship, has become the Winkler hallmark, culminating in 2024. Poitfor's World Kindness Prize, presented by the Dalai Lama in Dharamshala, where Henry taught a masterclass on comedic empathy. Professionally, he remains a surprise machine. In 2026, he will headline Broadway for the first time, portraying legendary vaudevillian George Burns in the musical Say Goodnight, a role demanding soft shoe routines and 13 songs delivered in Burns' crackling timbre. To prepare, he records 8-hour rehearsal tapes analyzing breath control the way a quarterback studies game film. Netflix has greenlit Office Hours, a limited series he co-created, chronicling an overbooked college dean juggling activism, alumni politics, and late-life ADHD diagnosis. Shooting begins this winter in Vancouver. He voices the Sage Pebble in Pixar's forthcoming feature, Riverstone, adding mythic gravitas to a sentient rock who guides lost hikers. Proof that even stones can speak when Winkler supplies the soul. Between projects, he squeezes podcast, guest spots, dissecting the anatomy of a perfect joke, and reminding aspiring artists that cool is not a posture, but a kindness multiplier that ricochets back as career longevity. As dawn merges into dusk, Henry's ethos crystallizes: cultivate curiosity, weaponize compassion, and transform every setback into a springboard for collective elevation. He often tells students that the standing ovation matters less than the handshake offered afterward, to crew members striking the set. In that spirit, he has stipulated in his will that all future merchandising profits be split among a dyslexia foundation, a spinal injury fund, and a silent pandemic initiative aimed at destigmatizing adult loneliness. Yet, legacy planning hasn't slowed his tempo. He still rehearses Italian on Duolingo, Ambition, deliver a Rome Comic-Con keynote without a translator, and practices slack key guitar to serenade family barbecues. The man who once battled self-doubt now broadcasts a daily affirmation to 2.5 million followers. Your difference is your superpower. That mantra scribbled on Post-its across his office is arguably Henry Winkler's grandest production, an ongoing crowdsourced epic where every audience member becomes a co-star in their own redemption arc. Streaming's explosive rise has granted Henry an unexpected renaissance with audiences who never owned a DVD or watched network reruns. They first discovered him as Dr. Saferstein on Parks and Recreation, then binged his guest arcs on Brooklyn 999, Monk, New Girl, and the French Dispatch anthology. TikTok edits of Gene Cousineau's meltdowns rack up millions of loops, prompting Gen Z creators to post duet reactions titled, "How is this man 79?" Amazon recently released Chutzpah, a rom-com where Henry plays a retired Air Force mechanic guiding a love's shy nephew through Yiddish proverbs. The trailer's most quoted line, "Courage is a verb, kiddo," trended under Joshua Winkler wisdom. Meanwhile, his silky narration on Nature Doc, The Secret Life of Ponds, earned a Critics' Choice nomination and cemented him as the soothing voice of bedtime playlists worldwide. Each project reinforces the notion that charisma, when fused to authenticity, resists exploration and mutates into evergreen currency across every algorithm. In private, Henry wrestles philosophically with Hollywood's new speed. We're entire. Seasons vanish in a weekend, and actors fear digital oblivion within months. Over espresso at the Oaks Gourmet, he tells me that survival hinges on curiosity over cloud. Ask better questions than anyone else in the room, and you'll work forever. He keeps a leather notebook labeled What I Learned Today, jotting down on set revelations ranging from camera lens etiquette to talk angle hacks suggested by 20-year-old grips. Cast and crew testify that he greets every background extra by name, a habit he learned from Ron Howard during Happy Days. That ethos, he believes, inoculates art against cynicism, turning a set into a temporary tribe where no one's worth is measured by screen time. Directors now book him less for marquee nostalgia and more to infuse morale. They call it the Winkler effect, a kinetic kindness that uplifts production quality simply by existing. Yet Henry's ambition hums louder than any nostalgia. He continues, voice training for Broadway's Say Goodnight, spending evenings with dialect coach Jerome Butler to capture Burns's Brooklyn rasp without straining his vocal cords. Between rehearsals, he Zoom pitches The Heartwood Chronicles, a fantasy miniseries he co-created about a widowed apiarist who discovers bees can time travel through blossoms. Netflix placed a straight-to-series order with Henry set to direct 3 episodes. At Emerson College, the Winkler Scholars Program triples its cohort next spring, adding stipends for mental health support and equipment grants for neurodivergent filmmakers experimenting with VR. His to-do list for 2027 includes a master class titled Comedy as Compassion and a children's picture book about a dyslexic dragon who deciphers maps via smell. Asked by a journalist when he'll slow down, Henry smiles, slicks back imaginary hair, and replies, "When my curiosity takes a lunch break, and it hasn't punched out in 80 years. In the immediate horizon, Henry juggles one of the busiest slates of any octogenarian in Hollywood history. Rehearsals for Say Goodnight expand to full-day dance calls, where he practices soft shoe footwork until perspiration blurs the rim of his trademark glasses. Evenings, he Zooms with Pixar sound engineers to polish the growly wisdom of Sage Pebble, then slips into his home studio to record narration for Birdsong Before Dawn, a mindfulness album pairing his gentle cadence with field recordings from Costa Rica. Pre-production meetings for the Heartwood Chronicles stretch past midnight, mapping drone shots of lavender fields and breaking episode structure so that each chapter closes on a mysterious pollen dust swirl. Stacy slides herbal tea across his desk at 1 a.m. and he grins. We're making magic that didn't exist yesterday. 2 days later, he's on a flight to Milwaukee for a Happy Days 50th anniversary charity gala, auctioning original script pages to fund a dyslexia diagnostic clinic. Rather than rest, he schedules a sunrise kayak on Lake Michigan. Still chasing, wonder wherever water meets sky. Philosophically, Henry frames his schedule as a living syllabus titled Curiosity 101, arguing that relentless learning immunizes the artist against obsolescence. He keeps color-coded index cards, yellow for comic timing, blue for leadership, pink for mental health insights, stockpiled inside a leather folio he calls the library in my pocket. Whenever a young producer asks why he never flaunts awards on social media, he quotes a maxim from Stanislavski, scribbled on the first yellow card. Love the art in yourself, not yourself in the art. That humility informs every set ritual, arriving 30 minutes early to greet electricians, eating lunch with production assistants, and ending each day's call sheet with a handwritten note to the director about a crew member who excelled unseen. This behavior, known in industry circles as doing the Winkler, has spawned a generation of showrunners who now bake gratitude shoutouts into daily rap protocols, quantifiably lowering staff turnover and boosting morale. Yet, daily momentum coexists with reflective stillness. On quiet Fridays, Henry retreats to a glass-walled study overlooking his koi pond, composing legacy letters to beloved collaborators, epistles meant for posthumous delivery, celebrating shared victories and unspoken lessons. He stores them in a cedar chest beneath a vintage jukebox that hums Buddy Holly B-sides. Nearby, a bulletin board brim with Polaroids. Henry and Ron Howard holding newborn grandchildren. Henry hugging dyslexic teens at Comic-Con. Henry casting flies on the Snake River beside an evergreen so tall it dwarfs his leather vest silhouette. At dusk, he plays slack key guitar, coaxing mellow chords that echo across the yard and mingle with hummingbird wing beats. These rituals, he believes, weave joy into muscle memory, ensuring gratitude is not a fleeting emotion, but a conditioned reflex that springs forth even under spotlight's glare. As the calendar marches toward his 80th birthday, Henry Winkler embodies the thesis that adversity, when metabolized through empathy and craft, transmutes into generational uplift. Childhood dyslexia became best-selling books. Sitcom typecasting birthed producing empires. Spinal surgeries sparked nationwide. Health advocacy. Every challenge that threatened to confine him instead broadened the runway for someone else to take flight. So, the final tableau is neither curtain, call, nor fade out. It is an evergreen tracking shot of a creator striding from studio to classroom to riverbank, pockets jangling with index cards, eyes alike with next ideas. Should journalists ask whether he now feels content, he'll likely respond, with a phony's thumbs up and the mantra tattooed on millions of hearts. Your difference is your superpower. Looking toward 2030, Henry's horizon glows with projects that intertwine legacy and invention, a documentary he will co-direct for National Geographic following his trek across Germany, retracing his parents' 1939 escape route, an interactive audiobook for Apple Vision Pro that projects animated Hank Zyper scenes onto the listener's living room walls, and the launch of Happy Heart Studio, a training hub where neurodivergent teens learn post-production skills using real episodes, donated by major networks. Even his leisure brims with purpose. This autumn, he'll photograph monarch butterfly migrations in Mexico for a climate awareness children's calendar, then donate profits to reforestation charities. Through every new venture, Henry echoes a single credo. Artistry flourishes when curiosity, kindness, and disciplined hustle lock arms. So, as the world races forward, he keeps one hand on his leather notebook and the other extended to lift whoever stands beside him, proving day after day that cool is less a catchphrase and more a force for collective momentum. From every perspective, historical, artistic, humanitarian, Henry Winkler's life now resembles a symphony whose movements unfold in widening circles of influence. The first notes were struck in a Manhattan apartment where a shy child wrestled with letters. The finale swells on global stages where an octogenarian converts that former struggle into hope for millions. Critics once feared Fona would fix him in amber. Instead, the role became a launchpad for 4 additional careers: producer, director, best-selling author, and outspoken literacy champion. Dyslexia that mocked his school days now fuels scholarships. Physical injuries that tightened his spine now inspire nationwide wellness programs. Each personal loss, parents, mentors, friends, was alchemized into initiatives that comfort the bereaved or amplify untold stories. Where some entertainers slow, Henry accelerates, layering Broadway rehearsals with Pixar voiceovers, streaming series, podcasts, conservation trips, and the construction of mediumies for neurodivergent youth. In every endeavor, he repeats the advocacy mantra taped to his desk lamp. Talent is a gift. Kindness is a choice. That choice has become his signature, ensuring the legacy of Arthur Fonarelli evolves from cool leather icon to living beacon of inclusivity, resilience, and perpetual curiosity. As twilight gathers on this narrative, Henry Winkler's enduring relevance offers both blueprint and benediction. Reinvent relentlessly, serve generously, and treat each human encounter as the most important scene you'll ever play. When future historians trace the arc of post-war American entertainment, they will see his fingerprints in sitcom gold, prestige drama, literacy reform, and the very etiquette of kindness on set. When teachers encourage dyslexic students, they will lift Hank Zyper from the shelf. When young showrunners design crew protocols, they will cite the Winkler effect. And somewhere, perhaps in a quiet rehearsal room after curtain call, a veteran actor will smile at a nervous understudy and whisper, "Cool isn't a costume, it's compassion in motion." Passing along the credo, Henry spun from childhood struggle into worldwide inspiration. His story remains unfinished by design. Curiosity still wakes before dawn, legs still kick through pool water, and generosity still leaps continents at the tap of a send key. In that perpetual motion, Henry Winkler proves that true legacy isn't a monument, but a living current, one that invites everyone who touches it to jump in, ride the wave, and create a kinder world in its